From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself. And today is our show, Blank is Why We Love Star Wars. A couple years ago, I wrote a book called Why We Love Star Wars, the great moments that built the galaxy far, far away. You could pick it up if you're into advertising. You know, that's a plug. Hit that link. Get the add now, add to cart button going in your life, or whatever. But I decided to take the ethos of that book and put it into an interview show with a guest who comes along and just celebrates something that they love in Star Wars, book, show, character, sound effect, or today, action figures. That's right. Star Wars and action figures, toys, merch, and memorabilia, they go hand in hand. This we know. And what a deal it was for little Georgie Lucas and that little company out of Cincinnati, Kenner. But we're going to start there and go into a bigger spot today with our guest, longtime friend of the show, Mr. Ken Plume. Dare I say, a toy appreciating expert. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, that makes me sound like an adult. Sure.
Yes.
I'm a toy appreciating expert.
You know, I don't want to put the full expert pressure on anybody. You're an expert appreciator, not an expert necessarily on toys. No, you kind of are.
Connoisseur. I think connoisseur is Yeah,
connoisseur. Just like we're also both connoisseurs of weird flavored treats, ice creams, and combinations and food snacks. No comment, indeed. I want to start right here. Action figures, Star Wars. Where does your journey begin, and what made those figures come off the screen and into your grubby little hands?
I mean, my recollection is always having a connection to pop culture toys in general. Like that was always a thing, whether it be like the boulder throwing Incredible Hulk figure that I got for Christmas one year, or Popeye stuff, or I was very aware of pop culture making its transition into toy form and wanting toys because I was aware of that pop culture. Star Wars, I think by the time I would have been old enough to start getting toys, which was around the time of the release of Empire Strikes Back, would have been really when I would have been old enough that my parents were comfortable giving me action figures. They were so ubiquitous amongst all the kids around. So you knew kids that had those toys. You had to be part of that community of play, or else you were an outcast. We were very big on not being outcast at that time. You gotta fit in.
80s were tough, man.
Yeah.
We were ducking under desks for nuclear training drills, and you wanted and you needed your action.
And we had pop culture toy stratification built in. Yeah. We knew our status within our friend groups. Oh, your parents don't get you these toys? You don't have the latest G.I. Joe? You don't have the latest Transformer? Well, I do, because my parents love me, and clearly yours don't.
Oh, you only get the figures? I get the play sets.
Yeah, we were all about keeping up with the Joneses kid. Yeah. That was our entire childhood was, what did they get? You had a better Christmas than I did. I get it. I understand. So I remember a lot of the stuff from that period getting... the core. I remember getting the core characters. I remember at least having a Darth Vader and being excited about that. But I think my parents also made some budget decisions at that time. Yeah. And I don't know 3-4-year-old if they really should have been playing with, I'm going to hold it up for people watching, but I'll describe. Kenner also did a micro collection of die-cast figurines with playsets.
Yeah.
Which, they're pointy, they're Sharpie, they're not like the best thing for little small kids to be playing with.
Yeah. They're candy sized.
Yeah. It's for, a generation probably that, this is like the little toy tin soldiers that you can get for little dioramas. And it means you can get, a whole Hoth playset to go with them, or Bespin to go with them. Yeah. But when the kids around you were getting full-size figures, it felt kind of weird, and you're trying to use their full-size figures to play on those small sets.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And multitask that way, which you can kind of pull off with the Hoth set. It's like, it's a very narrow trench that they're walking down.
It's a very, I love the micro play set. I absolutely love it. I'm kind of obsessed with it and its history, both the success and failure of it. But it was a bummer because I had the Luke all curled up with his arm, so you could put him like in someone's, like Han could hold him because he just got his arm chopped off of, and that was the Luke I had. So it's like you couldn't tell any other story than hurt Luke, and it was
No, and
limited.
there's nothing like having that immortalized
Right.
in a little metal figurine to have as part of your playthings. Like, oh, here's Trauma Luke.
Yeah. And this was didn't they have the back to tank underwear Luke first before it showed up in other forms?
I think that wasn't that one of the later Hoth
Mm.
releases.
You're right. Maybe not one of the ones that didn't really make
it. I
it.
just remember transforming the collapsing bridge into the arch you would hit your head on for the figures walking through it.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, there was a lot of fun play features, but yeah. So the figures at that time, I don't remember anything competing once Star Wars sort of came into my collecting with anything else until probably G.I. Joe and He-Man came along. Like, I think those are the ones that started to push out Star Wars.
Yes. They were my new loves, and my first girlfriend's Star Wars toys were fading into the past.
Well, by then they were also fading into the past for Kenner as well.
Yeah.
So they were becoming a lot less ubiquitous than they were prior. But yes, there was definitely a sense of, oh wait, you're still playing with Star Wars? We're all about the He-Man now.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember your first, you're talking about the micro series, but like your first Star Wars figures that you truly cherished, that this meant something to you? Because I don't know about you, but I grew up early 80s thinking the Battlestar Galactica figures were also in Star Wars. It was a very confusing time. I had some MASH figures, so Klinger and Darth Vader were together. It was,
if the scales were similar enough, they all fit in. Listen, my Darth Vader was hanging out and fighting Smurfs.
Yeah.
You could make any narrative work as a kid. And I think that was the joy of, particularly when you have Star Wars being an alien franchise, like a ton of weird looking aliens, anything goes. You could fit anything into that narrative and make it work. Yeah. You know what? There's Jawas and there's Smurfs. There's a whole range of characters you can work into. The Get Along Gang, they could show up. Shirt Tails.
Yeah.
All your little PVC, like our generation, I think I remember PVC figurines being really big as far as things you would get as gifts and representations of characters too.
Right. Yeah. Forgotten in that time indeed. How did Star Wars emerge for you, both as a franchise and a collection, in terms of just kind of getting to the front of your line outside of He-Man and G.I. Joe? We'll bring in Dan Larson one day to have a G.I. Joe Transformers He-Man conversation. But did it move forward at all in terms of your loves, when?
I think it had the benefit because it was that sort of that and the Muppets were two things I was super focused on. But Muppets wasn't merchandised in quite the same way. Or with the same amount of, like, you might have had the finger puppet set, but that's the extent of the Muppet figures you would have gotten at the time.
Right.
Star Wars, there was so much, but Star Wars had the benefit of being one of the first RCA Selectivision video discs that my family owned.
Oh yeah.
And so once home video entered the picture, quite literally, and you could rewatch constantly something. It was a game changer as far as making those pop culture elements just permeate every single bit of your psyche. And I think that was what reinforced, like, you became just so familiar with scenes and characters, and then you could instantly pick up your toy. You could play along. It wasn't just, and I'm not saying this as a negative of like taking away our imaginative play and somehow crippling the imaginations of children by having access to these things, where otherwise we'd have to remember half and poorly some of the things that happened in a movie and recreate them. That you could watch a scene and play along with the scene in real time.
Yeah.
Was a huge thing. And a lot of properties just were not merchandised.
Or failed
the same way.
Yeah, failed to reach the heights that Star Wars did. That's
you got one wave of the A-Team. You didn't get the rest of the A-Team.
You didn't get the rest.
You didn't get. Yeah, there weren't variations. There wasn't like BA and Battle Gear that came out.
Yep. I loved my Tonka like tradesman set. I had like a mechanic, a plumber or something. If you remember those, or at the same time, 3 3/4. Just I'm a mechanic. I love to throw that all in there. But yeah, Star Wars, obviously steps forward for me both as a franchise I love and the toys and taking them home. And yeah, just continuing the imagination. That's something that we're big on here in Force Center. I want to get to your adult life as your collecting keeps going on. But what were some of your early standouts during this golden era?
I mean, Vader was big as a
Yeah,
character figure, which set up a lifetime of
nice.
collecting issues, because I like to maintain the quality of my figures even then, because
Mm-hmm.
you'd
Mm.
see the kids that had, like, the figures that had seen better times.
Oh yeah.
They'd had a lot of rough play with their
Yep.
figures, and then those were the kids you wanted nowhere near your figures
Yep.
during group play. It's like, I know you're going to break it. I know you're
Mm-hmm.
going to break it. You can't have this. But Vader was one of the most finicky toys,
Mm-hmm.
from that narrow breakable lightsaber
Yeah.
to the ever ripping vinyl capes of
Mm-hmm.
that line, maintaining a Vader figure, or an Obi-Wan, or Jawa, anything that had well, I didn't have a vinyl cape Jawa, but anything,
I was gonna say, yeah.
Leia having the vinyl cape, anything that had a vinyl cape, you knew its days were numbered.
Oh yeah. Ripped and
My
gone.
my
Awesome.
Vader I repaired with a staple. The
Mm-hmm.
shoulder was repaired with, that was the level of repair. And
Yeah.
we've done a few shows. I've talked about my history of attempting self repair on figures, like a ballpoint pen to fix Han's eyes. The
Right.
things
Right.
you learn not to do when
Mm-hmm.
customizing your action figures. But that was
No.
all in an attempt, because I love them so much
Yeah.
that you wanted to keep them going.
Yeah. I think if I'm remembering, my Chewbacca with C3PO, break apart C3PO with that little vinyl bag, I think had tape on it. I think I ripped it trying to get it on and off because you had to like dislocate Chewie's arm to like get it to kind of
Wait, and
reach
you
and get
also
up.
have that very slim time where you're on the verge of ripping it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, if I just put a little bit, if I take my time, if I it's
Yep.
got a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
stretch, and it'll get
Mm-hmm.
over that shoulder, and it'll be fine, and it'll be on there, and then it's never coming off.
Yeah. Apologies to Anthony Daniels. I think for about the last 2 3 years I owned the Star Wars figures, all reenactment scenes with 3PO were him on Chewie's back in my house. I just decided I couldn't get it off there. So sorry, Anthony.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that
Anthony.
vinyl bag just lived
Any
on
big
there.
play sets? I know we're talking about action figures, but I count play sets and everything in this merch conversation. But did you save up your allowance? Did you get the one big gift at Christmas? Seems like you were like me. Your parents did their best to make sure you were happy on Christmas
They
morn.
did, and in hindsight, now investigating, when adjusted
Mm-hmm.
for inflation, what those prices were at the time,
Yeah,
I'm shocked at the things I got as a kid,
yeah,
and
yeah.
what my parents pulled off. Because I do recall, and had, like, the one big thing was the Millennium Falcon. I don't think I had
Mm-hmm.
any other. I never
Mm-hmm.
had an X-wing. I never had a Tie Fighter.
Mm.
I had a Millennium Falcon, though, and if that's the one you were going to, and I had a Land Speeder.
Right.
Those were the two that
Oh,
I
okay.
got.
I don't know. You lived a pretty good life then. I don't know. I'd be jealous of the Plume house if I was in your neighborhood.
Well, if you're not a breaker kid, then you can come over and
Oh,
we
I can come
can.
over and play.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I have my Y wing, and in terms of Star Wars, I think that was about it for big sets. I think everything else I had was small in the Star Wars world, mostly just figures. But I got a little more lucky with GI Joe because that's probably what I wanted. Um,
I mean,
this,
looking at the
yep.
prices of Transformers, when you
Oh
think about it,
yeah.
like I didn't know that the Optimus Prime was like the equivalent of a $70 figure
Mm-hmm.
for parents to be
Yeah.
getting at that time.
If I still, I infamously do not have my Star Wars collection from that era anymore. I have a lot of my GI Joes. I have a lot of my Transformers. And if you open up that lunch pail that they're all in, just tossed in there, you'll be like, oh, you've got Jazz, the definitely not problematic character from the first line.
It's Scatman
Um,
Crothers.
yeah, but all the other ones are like the tiny little micro figures. They're like, yep, that's when my parents
Yeah,
realized this was too much.
I got a Cliff Jumper and a Bumblebee
and a rat. What I had Ratchet. What's the other the Jeep? Yeah,
so you got as
yeah.
high as the mid level.
Yes,
You
yes,
had the
yes,
smaller,
yes.
and then you had the mid level.
Yeah, what
Like
okay.
an Ironhide or a.
I had Ratchet, didn't have Ironhide. Yes, and then later on I had what was the one that was it was so cheap it just you had to roll it back and it was on like a little runner
Oh,
and it like
that might have been
flipped.
Cliff Jumper. I think that might,
Yeah,
or
it
Beachcomber.
some
Was it
one of those.
Beachcomber? Like it was yellow and blue.
No, it was like white and blue. It was later on. You just folded the figure, click, click, and
Yeah,
then you
maybe it
like
was
did the
white and
whole.
blue. Yeah, and then he
Yeah.
just do flip
Yep.
into robot form. Yep. Yeah.
Transform. Yeah. And it was I liked it, but it was like my friend Britton had a Megatron and Optimus Prime. Like, what am I gonna do with this? What am I do with this?
I never had a Megatron until, uh, and I don't know if anyone recalls or if you had this when you were a kid. Sort of
Mm.
the black market trade of figures that you had amongst your friends.
Oh
That
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
any parents who spent any amount of money knew the amount
Mm-hmm.
of trading that was going on with these
Mm-hmm.
things that they had spent good money for. I
Yep.
remember at a certain point when I was like, I'm done with GI Joes.
Yep.
And this was like long, this is maybe 87, 80. This is like after Transformers had even started to fade at that point.
Right.
But I had always
That
held
first.
out this. I wanted to have a Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
And I traded all of my GI Joe figures
Oh wow.
for this kid's Megatron,
Wow. Where's
which
that
is
kid now?
a huge foolish thing to do.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know where that Megatron is. I don't know what happened to it, but I also lost all of my GI Joe figures in that one trade.
It's all the memories now. That's how I acquired a merman. I had a merman with a broken ear. I acquired it in a trade. I do not remember what I gave up though. And he didn't even have like a lot of accessories. I didn't get merman with his weapons. I just got merman.
Oh,
Like there he
so
is.
he didn't even have like his chest armor or anything like that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Almost naked merman that I apparently really needed for my storytelling. It was great. As this series is, blank is why we love Star Wars. Let's get into your soul here. Over the years, I know you're a Star Wars fan, like I am back to the old school days, and if you've moved forward with it, watching and appreciating most of all the new things and all the things in between. But what about action figures makes you love Star Wars even more?
I think it's just that sort of tactile ability to retain and have present a piece of that thing that you love.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a disconnect from the film or the TV show, in that is a representation that exists in its concrete, solidified, locked form. Well,
Mm-hmm.
asterisk next to that as far as Star Wars is concerned.
Right,
But
right.
this is a thing that exists. For the action figures, that's something that you can have, that's yours, that you can affect, you can display, you can retain a piece of that at any time. You don't have to turn on the movie to watch it. And it also elicits, if you have an emotional attachment to that thing, a warmth and love just glancing at it. You see it on a shelf and you go, oh, that reminds me of this thing that I loved. And just having that there is a warm presence. The same like a photograph would be, or a memento of a trip you were on, or a family member, anything like that. That having a sort of little a physical memento of that is what an action figure, as you age, becomes.
I do love looking at it that way. That's beautifully described. The memento aspect of it. It is a memory of whether the first time you saw the character, first time connected with the character, and you carry that forward with you in a lot of ways, whether it's on your shelf, in your hands on the playground, or in the package displayed safely up on a wall. It is an absolute reminder of what made you fall in love with that character at that moment. That's well said.
And you choose your way of incorporating it into your life, or you know how you prioritize, or how you retain those memories and move through it with life. Like you look at the things that might have survived from childhood, and what are the things that were retained, and where does that rank in why? Like what was the emotional attachment? What was the feeling that you're trying to retain by moving through life with a burden? There's no way to not call these physical objects burdensome in some
Sometimes,
way, because they are.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
just
yeah.
by they exist outside of you. They are a burden. They're something you have to carry with you physically, in addition to your own self. You have to choose to move forward in life, and through the various locations that your life winds up in, you have to make that choice.
Yep.
And it's a value judgment on what retains that sort of emotional connection and why. And sometimes you come to a realization that maybe you need to part with that thing, is maybe it has a negative connotation after a while, or a thing that you don't want to retain, or its inherent context has changed over time, and you're like, you know what, I'm fine with moving beyond that. And it's for the best.
Yeah.
And there's certainly been pop culture that has happened with. But I think that also then points to it being a sign of growth and maturity to show how you recontextualize things, and if you have the ability to recontextualize things. So yeah, eventually, is it all gonna either wind up in a dump or in someone else's possession? Sure.
Eventually, is it all an estate sale waiting to happen? Yeah, maybe.
Should I, is there anything you want me to put Post-it notes on? Whatever. But then you decide in the moment what matters. And sometimes it might be, there's times that collectibles have been a lifeline because you've sold them on at a time when you needed money.
Absolutely.
And they were in some way money in the bank. And you make those and sometimes your entire life after that is spent trying to reclaim it, or you lost them under whatever circumstances, and it becomes your rosebud of an emotional connection. The trouble of having eBay come into existence for our generation, who was steeped in pop culture, and what a perilous place that became in finding things, as I look over at my small vinyl Gilligan's Island figures. That I had to reclaim because the person who ran the daycare that I was at as a child took them from me.
What?
They took the Gilligan figure. I was never a sleeper when it came to nap time. Like,
no nap
I'm not
time
tired. I'm not tired. I know you want this. I understand you're really pushing, but I'm not. I'm just going to sit. And then so I thought I would sit here quietly on my mat and play with my favorite little Gilligan figure from my Gilligan's Island playset. And it was taken from me and never returned.
This is
robbery. 3-year-old me who had Gilligan taken at a daycare just outside of Tustin, Southern California.
Oh, yeah, Tustin, where I was, not far from there, probably during that time. So who knows?
You might have been a couple mats over, playing with your Star Wars figure.
I think I have a vinyl Gilligan somewhere in my collection. It's still in my storage. I have to pull it out. See if maybe it's the same one. If it's the same one and you still need it, maybe we can work out a trade.
I have 2 sets now.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, I guess I won't get my merman back. It's tough. I've told that story of the Y-wing that followed me all through my life, and back in 2019 when I was moving into the spot where I'm in now, I threw it away because it just was beat up and the foils were broken, and I just had this it was almost like Shmi was talking to me. Don't look back. Don't look back. Anakin, just go throw your Y-wing away. And I did. And
that didn't work out well with Anakin, though. That probably wasn't that.
Well,
it more should have been, Anakin, maybe you need to talk to people about your issues. Maybe you do need to look back and contextualize and
the Y-wing's not the problem. But shout out to ForceCenter Fred, First Rate Nate, who eventually sent me a one in the box, an original Kenner one, the Y-wing, and it's that thing all over again. Like I felt good about that one, and I moved, but then when that other one showed up, it's still wrapped up nicely. It's safe. It's not in the box. When I settle somewhere else, maybe I'll pull it out. But it was like I just looked at it. It was like this is different, but it's really scratching that emotional itch. So these things are super powerful. They are hunks of plastic that mean absolutely everything.
But having said that, if magically your original Y-wing were to appear, but you had to give up that new one, would you do that?
Gone. Yeah, gone. I'd sell the other one. What are some of the items that move forward? You showed a Vader earlier. I don't know if that's the original one, but which ones that you had your little hands on in '83 are still here with
I'm on the verge of reclaiming some of my original ones.
Okay.
People can follow along with that narrative on that. But another big one that was like a huge emotional connection and remains so, and a character like not you would not assume is visually appealing,
Sure.
and is not a good character. Not a positive character. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Okay.
But is a good character in that interesting is Jabba the Hutt. And this
Ah.
is not my original Jabba. Again, that was part of the
Look at that glorious slug. Look at that.
but the Jabba as a toy.
Yeah.
When you're at that point, so it was 83, 6 years old. I would have been like perfect time, and it had a tail, action features. It had so much character. It had the benefit of looking 96% like it just rolled off the screen. Like it's a really good sculpt. It's an accurate representation of Jabba. And I was really big as a kid. I'm really big on, does it look like the thing? Why doesn't it look like the thing? And it would bother me if it wasn't on model to the thing that G.I. Joes, but especially Transformers, were so infuriating when it came to looking nothing like what's on screen.
Oh, yeah, look, there's still a part of me that's like the rebel troops on Hoth are a little too brown in figure form on their outfits, their vests. I felt were like, that's not what they were wearing to me. Some of them were, but like I was like, it's too bright, it's too vibrant. That's not what I saw on screen.
Yeah, or if you really start looking, that's not the suit that Vader's wearing. What is this onesie? It's a weird onesie that he's what is this? Is this his jammies? Is his figure wearing jammies?
I have acquired pajamas. You're holding up that job, but I do want to move to more of the future, but also moving forward. You do love Jabba the Hutt figures, though, right? That is kind of a sub fixation.
I do. I have a very soft spot. I mean, thankfully, there's a finite number of Jabbas that have been released.
What's the magic about it? And I agree, because I think I still have my Clone Wars Jabba with 3PO.
And that's just beautifully stylized. Like that's a great representation of that Clone Wars stylization.
It is.
He's big. He's like a centerpiece of a display, but it's just fun. It's a weird, fun thing. Going back to that action feature, which they kept again when they brought him back for the special edition release, which was the next Jabba we would have gotten, which is not the best looking Jabba. As far as the design of the character, but they did the whole tail wagging thing. They carried that through. You had I think the next one was in 2001, and he had a weird tongue sticking out feature that you could.
Oh, right. Yes.
Oh, no. I forgot. We had episode one.
Oh, right. Yep.
Where he would spit the frog at the gong, that action feature. Then you had the Jabba Glob, where you could put slime in and have the slime come out of his mouth. Then you had the one with the weird tongue. Then you had the Clone Wars one that you're talking about.
Right.
Then I think there was a Walmart exclusive one that I don't have. I think it's the only one I'm missing is the 2010. There was like a playset, very limited, came with Ula and Salacious Crumb and the Throne, which you did not get often. In fact, that was the only other time you got the Throne besides the original release of the figure.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the Black Series release, which is the 6-inch scale.
Exclusive. Yeah, I have that exclusive
which came with a Throne box.
Yes.
And his like hookah and frog bowl and railing, but not the Throne.
Yeah.
But the great thing about that, and I'm holding up is it has an action feature, and you can make Jabba talk.
Yep. I have that one out of box. Used to be on the Jedi Alliance set. I paid $100 cold hard cash to have someone pick it up for me at 2014 Comic-Con.
And it's just it looks great. It's a great looking Jabba, but the action feature is what sells it for me. As you know, you were on Force 5, the show that I do, where we talk about people's 5 favorite Star Wars collectibles in their collection. And we opened up the Qui-Gon, and was it the Opie? The fish?
OPC killer. Yeah.
When he had, and that has a mouth open and close action feature, and I just delighted in that. If you
I
can
love
give me a mouth open and close action
give me a
feature,
mouth.
that is my one major joy in life.
Is there a couple He-Mans? Did Lockjaw, or was that his name? Who was that one that there was a mouth one? Maybe, I don't know.
Lockjaw, you could open and close his mouth. I don't think it was an
Okay,
action feature. Because
okay,
Lockjaw had like the
but you
serrated teeth.
serrated teeth. Man, I
Uh,
pulled that name out of the subconscious of my soul. I have not said the
you're
name
thinking about
Lockjaw
it now,
in a
though.
long time. Yes, yes. No, the Jabbas are great. I'm with you because I don't have a collection of them per se, and I think I may have unfortunately got rid of some of them in my recent let's pay for rent with toys life I lived. But Wampas, and I didn't grow up being like I love the Wampa. In fact, I was terrified of the Wampa as a kid. But after a while, about 2014, when I was picking up a lot of things for the Jedi Alliance set with Mon Garrett's and I show, I just realized like I have a Funko Wampa, I have a Lego Wampa, I have a Kenner Wampa. Like Wampas are just fun to collect. So I get it. And with Jabba, and Jabba I was fascinated with as a character. He's big in your life because he's one of the first big villains we have to face as youngsters. If you've seen Return of the Jedi, you're like, there's this vile gangster, but you kind of like him. We
Who
know Jen.
seems to have it all together. Listen, your
Yeah.
mind tricks don't work on me. You're not
Yeah.
going to be able to pull your usual bull crap on. Yeah.
Yeah. I know the world. We know Jen Landa loves him too. We're big fans around here. But if something about that original Kenner figure, because it wasn't quite a playset, it was a figure, but it had that, the throne, and you could open it up and you could trap people and put your figures in there. It just was, and I never had it, but I had friends that had it. I had the Richie Riches down the street, and it was one of the things I coveted the most. So I get your love of it. The
Well,
love
and
of
the
Jabba.
Wampa too. I'm wondering because the Wampa you said scared you as a kid, and Jabba scared me. Well, one
Yeah.
aspect of Jabba, and I know I've shared this with you before, but for years after seeing Return of the Jedi, you know that scene after Leia has unfrozen Han,
Mm-hmm.
the curtain pulls back after the laughter, Jabba's laughter is heard off screen, and it reveals Jabba and his court were hiding behind the curtain really quiet. Like you got to admire just how quiet they were during how all of this unfolded. Like, do you think there was a lot of elbows to the side going, you're going to ruin the surprise.
Bib Fortuna going, shh, everybody, shh.
You got to be quiet.
They want to be quiet. They want to be quiet.
And Jabba waiting, like his timing on that laugh. But for years after that, every time I would go into the bathroom, I would pull the shower curtain aside to make sure that Jabba wasn't hiding behind the shower curtain.
Yeah.
And it's weird how a child brain processes.
Yeah.
Like none of that makes sense. None of it makes sense as a plausible thing that could have in reality. Like I think one time I was going to pull it and there would be Jabba behind there.
Wait, did that make, was it just curtains that you were afraid of, or was it
just the shower curtain? It
just
wasn't
the shower
curtains
curtain.
and runes. It was only maybe it was because you were in a closed room.
Right.
And just the idea, and you're depending on what you're doing, you're sitting in that closed room for a length of time to where there's this mystery that exists behind that curtain that you have to dispel that mystery before you can relax.
Did you think that Jabba was in the shower in the throne?
Well, that was again, all you're processing is something I've seen. Something hide behind a curtain really quiet. It could be super quiet back there. Maybe I don't know. They're being super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Best to check.
It's also, and I know you're such a fan of the Muppets, but it's also one of the most Muppet-like things in Star Wars, just picturing the entire gang hiding behind a curtain. like Sweetums could be there as well.
And how long were they hiding? Like that took a lot of prep to hide because it's like the middle of the night. And we see some of them are faking sleeping because she walks like they all collapse. Like even that, it's a weird plan. It's a weird plan on Leia's part to even take the risk of sneaking down there when there are sleeping court denizens just around.
Yeah.
Like no one's having to get up and use the restroom. You're not worried about that in any way, right. Leia?
You're not hiding. Is this what Billy Joel was writing about in River of Dreams?
Yes.
In the middle of the night. Leia goes rescuing Han. This is great. A lot of people throw, Joseph had his Star Wars counseling show here. Maybe we'll do a special episode just for this. We had a lot of people concerned about Luke's plan. but Leia's plan, but also was Jabba just waiting there every night for someone to try to free Han? Like, was this the night?
Is that how he stays warm at night? Does he have to
Yeah.
keep them all gathered around him? Are they like his security blanket?
We're really close at Jabba's palace. We're really close.
Yeah.
It's a big pack. We cuddle. Yeah. We cuddle.
Jabba likes to sleep over. I mean, that's the thing. Like, no one has rooms to go to in Jabba's palace.
Yeah, and I know you and I both agree that when traveling, it's best to stay in a hotel. Don't stay at anyone's house. Don't get an Airbnb. Get your own space. I could not spend the night at Jabba's palace. I would have to go out.
Can you imagine being invited to stay at someone's house? Like, no, but you're staying in the room with me.
You're staying in the room.
I get cold at night.
Yeah.
You're my guest, so you stay in my room with me.
Why? Well, just someone might come and take my wall art.
I invited all of our friends. You're all staying in my room.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of other rooms. It's a palace after all, but you're all staying with me.
Do you think, and you could reenact this with figures, do you think Boba Fett reinstated this policy? Do you think Bib kept it going?
Bib looked like he was kind of alone. It looked like he had a staff retention problem. It didn't look like anyone was flocking to hang out with Bib.
Yep.
Bib looked like he was just grateful for the conversation when Boba showed up. It's like, oh, a friend. I know you. I haven't seen a friend in a long time.
Bib Fortuna's run at Jabba's palace was like when your favorite bar gets bought by one of the employees who takes it over and then just kind of runs it in the ground because they don't know how to manage it.
Or like when the company that bought Cheers from Sam, and then Sam came back and worked as an employee at the place. But it was all weird, and there's weird. Yeah, that's Bib's. That's Bib's time. He tried to institute all kinds of new policies. They weren't popular at all.
No. Maybe that was what the problem was. He instituted a sleep in your separate beds policy, and everyone's like, "That's not what this palace is about, man. That's not what's going on here.
That's not what friendship. That's not loyalty."
Yeah.
And also,
you
thaw out, Han. Get out of there. Why are you lingering for so much conversation?
For
like
love?
that should have been like you're dropped out of that carbonite block. I'm dragging you out of here.
Let's talk in the car.
Yeah,
let's get in the Falcon. We'll have a conversation.
Now's not the time to catch up.
Yeah,
someone who loves you. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go.
Pack your things. We're going.
Run
and
run.
The run. The great thing is you could reenact all this with your favorite toys. You could this. This is what the HasLab is for.
Was Lando also sleeping on Jabba?
Was Boba Fett there? And did Lando?
We know Dengar's asleep on Jabba guy. Like he probably enjoyed the heck
all the time. Did Lando? I love that this is veering way away from figures, and I love this. Did Lando figure out what's going on? Was he trying to secretly communicate to Leia, or was he just like, "This is part of the plan as they get caught, so we're all cuddling here"?
Yeah, we know he has a sleepover. Here's his sleeping times. So I'm sure Lando would have scoped out, this is when they all hunker down, bunk down with Jabba on his throne.
Right.
Everyone's collapsed. This is your window. I don't know if the plan would have been take it as slowly as that was.
Yeah.
But was Lando behind the curtain going, they're waking up. They're waking. He's about to laugh. Why are they still out there? This is not the timing on this is bad. Yeah.
Shh, quit coughing.
You're gonna ruin it.
You're gonna ruin it. Amazing. Amazing. See, this is what imagination comes out of collecting figures there. Did you have a moment? I had the moment. A lot of us from our generation had the moment. A lot of maybe future generations might still have it, but it's maybe a little less frequent and constant. But did you have that moment where you're like, the Star Wars toys have to go away, or I have to change? I am a grown-up now. This is what I'm being told. Did you have that moment? Did you escape that thought process?
That moment was made for me. That's part of my Star Wars toy traumas. They just disappeared.
Wow.
And I found out later that my mother had given them to my cousins who had no interest in Star Wars. And they just went up into their attic. Was the story I was told. They just went up into the attic, and that's where they lived. They didn't care. And so in my mind, in the back of my mind, there was always this: they exist. They may still exist because my aunt's and uncle's attic.
Yeah.
She was like a real dedication to buying all the new toys.
Yeah.
And bought her kids like every Ninja Turtle when they came out, but
Mm.
also
Mm.
kept a lot in packages.
Okay.
When they were into like when that period of time when you had like fake food and fake,
Yes.
there's like a fake kitchen set or whatever.
Yep.
Bought every single thing you could imagine fake food wise.
Oh, wow.
But it would all eventually just go up into the attic. And so this attic, I always envisioned like the end of Raiders. Like it's the warehouse at the
Yeah.
end of Raiders, and all this stuff exists up there.
Yeah.
And so I always held out this hope that one day, because I remember my Star Wars toys were all kept in a clear vinyl bag that like a
Yeah.
comforter would come in.
Oh yeah, big bag. Yep.
That had the zipper around, and that
Mhm.
was what all my Star Wars toys were in. That one day I would be able
Wow.
to find and reclaim. Like, have you ever made it up? Every once in a while, I'll check in. Ever made it up in the attic? No, there's too much stuff in the attic. So it was this Schrodinger's collection
Yeah.
of envisioning it out there. And about a year ago, which means this is still pending,
Okay.
she had texted out of nowhere and go, we have been going through some things. We're trying to downsize, and we're cleaning out the storage in the attic and that. We think we might these might be Star Wars figures. She had no clue. So she sent a photo, and I zoomed in on the photo, and one of the things in that photo was a Bespin Han Solo with ballpoint ink eyes. And if there's any way that if you could one figure to survive all this time that would have been the very clear, this is your figure. Yeah. It was for that Bespin Han Solo to still exist with its hollow Event Horizon eyes.
Yeah.
Looking like a void. That was so I always had that trauma about the figures going, which I think informed when Power of the Force 2 came out, that figure line in 95, that at that point, flush high school graduate, adult, oh, these things are back and I can buy Star Wars figures off the shelf again?
Oh, yeah.
Because people don't know who collected afterwards or see how things exist now. There was a desert. It was a Star Wars collectible desert. You had the books come out in the early 90s, and then you had some Bendums. But there weren't Star Wars toys. Yeah. They just did not exist.
They didn't.
And there wasn't a collectibles market like we think about it now for things like that. Because we were the generation who hadn't yet come into our economic force of trying to buy up our childhoods.
Yeah.
To justify all these companies coming out of the woodwork going, oh, we can sell you nostalgia. We can bring all of these obscure properties back.
Yeah.
And you'll buy them.
You'll buy a Matt Tracker mask figure? Yes. Okay.
You'll buy a life-size Matt Tracker helmet? Dan Larson, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do like, though, I don't like that all your figures were taken away. Did you just come home from school one day and they were gone? That's traumatic. That is traumatic.
I have no memory. Maybe I've blocked out of what the timing was. As far as I was concerned, they went, I think it happened as a move was happening. But it was them, all of my real Ghostbusters.
Oh, wow.
Which I had a ton of, including the Firehouse, and all of my Ninja Turtle figures.
What?
And so the only toy that really made it through, and I can't quite get it sitting far on my desk behind the Gilligan, is somehow my Indiana Jones figure.
With
its whip cracking, whip cracking action, and broken thumb, of which all of them had broken thumbs.
I had those.
Yeah. That is one of my few original childhood toys that exist to this day.
Wow.
And
I mean,
still have.
I picture you sitting up in your room looking out the window. Your toys are gone, and you're just like,
Just one hand as the
somewhere
rain comes down.
out there beneath the pale moon. That's dramatic. Well, the nice thing is, like you said, we adults, we do occasionally have money, and we can refill the holes in our soul. You mentioned the power of the force. You mentioned the explosion, and now we know where you are now. When did you was it 95 that you were like, I'm back in, baby? Was there some other time? What's your favorite lines to collect now? You are a toy guy. You have a great show about toy collections with Force 5 and other things. When you're like, when you're like, I'm back. This is it.
95 existed up through, in fact, I think I stopped right as the episode 1 toys were coming out. Right. Because I think it was also sort of a financial thing. Like I really wasn't like that. I can put a pause on this, but I had a lot of the Power of the Force too. And those I still have. I still have all the ones that I got at that point. And then I was out of it for a bit. And it would only sort of dip in if I saw something that like really like, oh, this Darth Vader and Luke Bespin duel twofer where you could compete them click them together. Sure. That was, or Yoda or something like that. So I would dip back in because Toys R Us existed, and you could walk into a Toys R Us and see these things and be excited.
Remember that? Yeah.
But it was more of a dip in on that, and I really kept away from most of it. And the thing that sort of brought it back with a full force was the start of the pandemic. And like, oh, I'll start picking these things up. And then it got way out of control. Wow. And I had some stuff in the interim. I had some like review stuff, like Kenner had, or Hasbro had sent a whole bunch of review stuff around 2010. They sent the big Millennium Falcon at the time, and the AT-AT and the Snow Speeder, and that was fun. I really love those things, but it didn't get me back into buying it. It was just like, hey, I reviewed it. This is fun to have. I still have those ones that they sent, which I'm thankful for because they're ridiculous to try and get now. But it wasn't until sort of the pandemic and sort of coming to a reassessment of my relationship with Star Wars and the films and maturing a bit in sort of some of the toxic and caustic ways that you'd looked at stuff like the prequels and going, well, wait a second, where does that come from? Why even react in that way? And also, I'm still watching these things, so I'm clearly finding something that I'm enjoying within these things that have been an easy joke for, at that point, decades. Why? What is my assessment on this? And do I have an emotional attachment that I didn't know that I had with these things? And also just sort of a zen, like, why get upset and angry about these things? And clearly people like, and hey, if you don't like it, move on. It's fine to move on.
Amazing concept.
Same thing with collecting. It's fine to move on. And sometimes I have to get to that point because collecting mentality, sometimes you get a completionist, which there's no way to have a completionist mentality with Star Wars figures. There's just too much of it. And the fact that it's still coming out. Like that's the point of having to break that cycle and go, oh, what do I really want beyond what am I getting this just because it exists and I somehow feel there's a need, like it's required that I have this checklist that I tick off to be no, you don't have to get the stuff. So I'm starting to thankfully roll back on, do I need another clone trooper? No, you really you don't. Do you have the characters you like? Do you have the best versions of those that you like? Sure. Can you have enough Jabbas? Probably not.
No.
That probably is going to be the one sticking.
Get all the Jabbas. That's fascinating. That I'll say it's kind of late in the game. through all the time and years we've talked together. I don't think I've picked up on that pandemic 2020 basically that you're back into the love that you are now. But I understand it because for me that was 2014 when I started hosting Jedi Alliance, and the style of the time was to put a bunch of action figures on your set and okay, I like that. And I didn't have a lot. I had classic things. I had a plastic tote full of things I'd picked up over the year, just like you said, randomly. Let me get this, over the top steel bikini Leia, figure that's should probably be questioned, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Up to about 2010, I had like one Star Wars T-shirt that I didn't fit in anymore. It was like white, yellow. It was like I had it from like 95's Princess Leia in pencil, kind of drawn on it with the blaster. And then it was 2014 where it was like, oh, I can do this now. And
but also with the
again.
rise of the internet the way it was, that also almost became also like your work outfit. Like that
Yes.
was the personal branding that you were putting out for the work that you were doing, was to embrace this. Like you would talk about, you're building set design.
Yeah.
At that point, like, I'm getting this because this is the design of the persona that I'm putting forward within this space.
You're absolutely right. That is, and figures and merch, remember, took on a real powerful new meaning. I'm. This is fascinating to think about it this way because I don't think I ever have. Like, it wasn't just nostalgia at that point. In 2007, swinging through a store and buying a Darth Vader, like I would do every now and then, had a lot to do with nostalgia and wanting it to be 1983 again. But 2014, it wasn't. You're right. I left my security job where I wore a suit and tie in 2015. When I show up at Screen Junkies, I owned 45 ripped apparel T-shirts because I'm going to tell the world that I not only like Game of Thrones, I like a funny, witty T-shirt about it that's a serial, Dragon O's. Like it was a reforming of who we were through these things that we had lost.
Did you see that also with like your hat game at that time, that the branding took off on, like, this is what I'm presenting. As I'm walking around Comic-Con, as I'm doing this gig, or I'm at this junket, or is it?
Yep. I'm obviously I'm a sports guy. I know you're not, but like I had, mostly all my hats were sports things all through the years, maybe an occasional one. I had a Steve Martin bluegrass hat. All right. I have that still. But that first Imperial Insignia baseball cap I got was huge because it was just like, I can do this. Oh, hats don't have to represent a collection of professional athletes I root for. It can represent something bigger.
And also, I think companies leaned into, and certainly I think that the polarization that we see in fan base is that because that sports ethos invaded pop culture in a major way at that time.
Yep.
Beyond like, it always used to be like a funny, like Star Trek versus Star Wars kind of pick your lane kind of thing. But it didn't become as caustic
and combative
and virulent as a declaration. And you got to defend your team, and you got to be out there. And here's the ways that, not just that I just don't like that thing. Here's the way that thing that I don't like is horrible and awful and inferior to the thing that I love.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that sports polarization. In fact, without saying, a great many aspects of our lives and culture and society to the detriment of it. It's like, it's to boil it down to not just teams, but also a tribal approach to, no, this is forever and ever, absolute do or die, the most important thing in the world. You know what? Everything is not the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, I always say, and as a former producer of movie fights, I say this, fully aware I was part of it, but everyone's trying to win the round, is what I say. Everyone wants the points to win the round in a lot of aspects of the world. And that happened with the merch, too, and the toys and the figures. And I did pull off a few years ago. A lot of people know here at ForceCenter, like, I just stopped collecting as much. And I can sit there and say some truths about money and space and all those things. But there was I have done this again. I did about 10 years of getting everything I could or wanted, and that doesn't need to define me anymore. And it was like a refresh on that too. And now I just pick up things that I absolutely love or need.
Right. It's like, does this matter? Is this a thing that I have an emotional connection to, or an aesthetic connection to. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's things I own that I may not like the property, but I like, that's a really cool design though. You know, it might be that I really like the robot in that thing, so I want a representation of the robot in that thing. But I don't really like that thing that much. So,
Wow.
you know, you can whatever justification you need.
Are you talking about Buck Rogers figures or something?
Beady beady.
Beady. Who I thought was in Star Wars.
All that blended together at that time.
Yeah, absolutely did.
So did was it the Daggett from Battlestar Galactica?
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
The doggy, the little dog, robot dog. Yep.
Yeah. Why is that not?
Yeah, my cousin had a Daggett figure, and I'm 5. Of course, I'm going to think it's in Star Wars because he had it mixed in with his Luke's and Han's and Chewbacca's. Like, it was like, oh, yeah, it's all a thing.
Don't get me wrong. Once this, you know, the Star Wars Cantina arrives, that thing's going to have such a mix of characters. In fact, one of them just came because he's a Star Wars character as well. The Jack Black from Minecraft is going to be sitting in that cantina. What was his character's name from Mandalorian? Do you recall? There's no points involved.
Yeah, Captain Bombardier. Do I win the round? Yes.
Yes, you do. So this has been Bombardier's day off, sitting in the cantina in his casual. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Do you have any all-time favorite lines from, you know, even if it's 3/4 versus Black Series? Where do you go, or specific lines and figures, Star Wars figures?
Boy, I mean, your mind blanks just to, you know, I am your father as that is a symbolic. But I do like the little comedic asides. Like I love a good Han and Chewie old friends bickering moment, like a laugh it up, like that sort of lived in friendship and joshing each other moments.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And I like how you see that evolve to Luke having those moments with Han and having that comfort level where they can joke on that level, when it started out in A New Hope not being that. And it was very much, you know, shut up, kid. And don't get cocky. And I don't have no respect for you. You're just, you hired me. I don't respect. The old man hired me. You're here as baggage, turning into them joking on the skiff.
Yeah.
You know, the back and forth of, you're going to die here. You know,
you're going to die here. You know, I asked a misleading question. I meant figure line. You turned it into a conversation about lines of dialogue, which
you made it into I thought it was just a general why I love Star Wars moment, and I was going with you.
Sorry, I forgot to say, what is your favorite figure line? But I loved what you said. It was a great answer.
You can clip it out.
It stays in the show.
Clip it out. Save it for another show. I think the original Kenner line.
It's hard. Yeah,
it's hard to get over that, even though it's clearly been surpassed in quality. I mean, if you just look at, there's the original Jabba, and then here's the modern Jabba.
Yeah.
And you can see the paint work, the sculpting. Nothing's gonna beat. And you know, this thing doesn't have a moving tail like this does.
Like that one.
The tail doesn't move his head on the new one.
I love that sound. Yeah.
Yeah, that empty, that really hard plastic rattle sound.
It's the sound of fun. Yeah, I agree with you too. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Black Series over the years. That's what I ended up collecting more, even than 3 3/4 stuff. Though I'd liked a lot of the little Black Series 3 3/4 stuff too. But over there's, but that first the counter stuff, but also that final year, I love the original Power Force run. Get that coin, the figures really leveled up. The sculpts were good. The figures had some weight to them. Yeah,
I mean, everything they could do to mature that line in that final year. Which is why some of the times they release these retro figures that are supposed to be in the quote-unquote Kenner style. And I think they go too simplistic. Like, they weren't recognizing the evolution of those figures over time.
Yep.
And they go towards the cliche of what you would think a retro figure would be, rather than the reality of what we were getting. Like that Wicket figure is a beautifully sculpted figure. The Yoda figure is a beautifully sculpted figure.
Low grade Chirpa. Yes. Yes. Biker Scouts. I love the Biker Scouts. They're so detailed.
Yeah, they were getting proper
Mm-hmm.
photo reference, so
Yeah.
things were
Yeah.
actually looking like they should.
They weren't just watching the movie 12 times.
The
The
main
man's
characters
Chinese.
level up. You compare the Luke,
Mm-hmm.
the Jedi
Mm-hmm.
Luke to that original farm boy Luke, and it is
Yep.
a light years difference and better and improved.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree. Like I enjoy, I have the Tarkin with the board game re-release. Like that made sense because it was Tarkin should have been in the original 12 or whatever. I get that, but yeah, I have like an Ahsoka vintage or retro. It's like no, give me the 83 version, not the 77 version.
Well, even the 77 version of that Tarkin wouldn't have looked like that. Like that has
Mm-hmm.
such a simplified facial sculpt that
Right.
looks like a wax figure. Like it's so smooth. But if you look at the Ben Kenobi figure that we got,
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good head sculpt. And that's a
Yeah.
really detailed, sharp head sculpt on that. And that was the original line when that Tarkin would have come out in 78.
Mm. Yeah.
I should have come out in 78.
What? Well, I think it's time for us to get in our cars and run camera and just get really angry about it and put some red eyes.
No,
on
no
our
more
thumbnails.
anger. No more anger.
No more anger. No more anger. Round the corner
We're
in the
going
bed
to check
here.
behind the shower curtain. We're going to make sure all's good.
Check that. That's amazing. As we start to bring this to a close here, there's two big things to talk about. Now, keep in mind, Joseph Scrimshaw is not here to defend himself. But please, once again, as you've made this case on other shows and in real life, what is the case for opening the action figures, taking them out of the package?
I'm going to, before I answer that, I'm going to elevate and appreciate Joseph's approach to keeping them in the package, in that you have them in situ in packaging that was designed to be appealing and is an artistic expression to that extent, and represents just as much an emotional attachment as opening up and playing with the figures, as seeing those figures on those cards in those stores and being excited about it, and as an adult appreciating that. I appreciate Joseph's approach. I couldn't do it. I like opening a figure, taking it. I'll keep the package. I'll keep the card back.
Sure.
Card back, I appreciate that, and I like keeping it, and I'll delicately open it up. But I like posing a figure. I like the figure sitting on my desk. I like the figure sitting in a scene. I like when you have a bunch of figures sitting out, they create their own scenes.
When you're not looking, too. Yeah, you come back, they've moved. Yeah.
Yes, you see, the narratives are just like, why is that? What would those characters be together? What's the weird situation of that? What if I were to get a Leslie Knope Parks and Rec figure that comes with a waffle on a plate, and I gave it to Palpatine like he's having breakfast on the Death Star? Like, you can't do that if you leave it in the package. That's the fun for me, is you have a thing. I think that's a sign of ownership and acceptance of the thing into your life, is opening. Like if you're not going to open it, it seems like it's an object in transition, and you're just a way point along the way, because you can very easily move that along.
Yeah.
And if you want to retain value on something, and that's perfectly valid, or you want that to be an investment, everyone's approach to collecting is valid. I'm not invalidating any of it, and I'm not demeaning any of it. My personal thing is that if you get a thing because you love it and you want to bring it into your life, then I think it shows an appreciation for that thing to open it up and display it, play with it, whatever you want to do with it. That for me is an important aspect of having the figures, which again, I really appreciate Joseph's approach as well.
Comment down below who you think won the round, Joseph, who's not here, or Ken. Put the winners down there. No,
I'm saying is I'm going to have my wooher serving a drink to the Jack Black figure in my cantina. Joseph is going to have a carded wooher sitting somewhere near the bar.
Yeah, well, I think too. Joseph sees it as pieces of art, as you know, and as you said, and he's not. People who don't open aren't like collecting because they're gonna sell it later. I think there's
Yeah,
some kind of a cynical
same
approach
as
of
an art collection. It's an
yeah,
art collection
keep
for
it
him. It's
keep it in the box. Yeah, for him it's art. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
I
there's
stepped on you.
different approaches to how museums display their pieces. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. It's like how
Yep.
and it is to each the sort of approach of the person curating their own collection, and
Mm-hmm.
it is your own collection.
And it is your own collection, indeed. That would be a great final thought, if not for my final question.
Is it about
Do you?
lines? My favorite lines.
It's about your favorite lines. Is there a white whale? Is there a Star Wars action figure you still need to get your hands on? Whether you've been waiting since '83, waiting to get it back, waiting for something new.
Oh well, I
What
mean,
is
get it back would be my entire childhood collection.
Just your
Uh,
entire childhood, yes.
Even if it's just that Han Solo, which
Yeah.
I know still exists now. So now it's
Yeah.
just a matter of getting
Oh
to
yeah.
Quakertown,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, and reclaiming it.
Okay. It's possible.
I mean, I'd like to finish my Jabbas. I'd like to get that 2010 Jabba the Hutt set, the Walmart set, just to have it.
There you go.
Even though it has a compositional issue where I guess the plastic is breaking down and it's like tacky to the touch, like his entire lower body. So it's not the best Jabba in existence.
But that's apropos for Jabba, right?
Yeah,
Nice sticky bottom.
Sticky bottom, tacky boy.
That works. That might be the most realistic Jabba you get. Well,
which I believe is also one of the songs that Steve Martin played during that bluegrass concert.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sticky Jabba bottom is
sticky bottom Jabba boy.
Yeah. Soggy bottom boys. Here's hoping that you complete your Jabba collection. Absolutely a wonderful conversation. We could go on and on and on talking about your love of action figures and what it means for your love of Star Wars, but we'll stop it here. I do want those out there in ForceCenter land, if you haven't already taken the deep dive into the wonderful world of Ken Plume, do so by going to the various places in social media. I'll have some links down below here if you're watching on YouTube. But for those listening, tell them where they can go, where they can find your shows.
Best place on social media is probably Blue Sky, which just at Ken Plume there. Instagram would be Insta Ken Plume, but I'm trying to mostly be on Blue Sky. YouTube is Ken Plume. That's a channel that has Force 5, which you have been a guest on that, and open chat. We've had some wonderful conversations and some weird times and playing with a talking fish. And the Patreon is also a great place for interviews from my archives that people can go check out. And if they want to become a patron, patreon.com/Ken Plume. And that's pretty much all the places to find me besides here.
And
on the best show for those who love Star Wars.
For those who love Star Wars, absolutely. You've been on ForceCenter before. In fact, you were on the first ever, I think, public Star Wars counseling in terms of the podcast edition. It was live at, was it Dragon Con?
Live at Dragon Con. Me and Hal Lublin, and I forgot who the third, might have been Molly Lewis. It was also there, but I know it was definitely Hal and I. Yep.
Go back to the archives.
I went with a real banger of a one that Joseph did not appreciate.
So go back.
Mine was, why was Obi-Wan a liar?
That's right. Go back to the archives. That'd be around 2016. I'll have to dig that one up and put the link out there. It's amazing. There you go. Follow Ken on all those spots. Support if you will. Thanks for watching here. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on the podcast feed, we appreciate you. And don't forget, on Sundays, we rebroadcast Databank Brawl, audio only. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell. And also, if you're watching on the phone, the YouTube app on the phone, there's a new feature called Hype. I don't really know what it does, but it helps the channel if you hype up the videos. So consider doing that, or consider supporting at patreon.com/ForceCenter. That's it for now. We'll see you here on ForceCenter. And this is a show about loving Star Wars. All right. That's the ending I'm going with. Just hold up your job. Bye, everybody.